going to call the Planning Commission meeting to order. Most members are present. We do have one absent, so we have established quorum. I do need to administer an oath to anyone who is planning on speaking at today's commission. All you have to do is say, "I do." Do you swear to tell the truth to this commission to the best of your ability? Say, "I do."
I do.
All right, thank you. And then anyone that does speak, we do ask that you come up to the podium and just state your name and your address, or basically the street you live on. If you're not an Athens resident, it's probably not necessary. Disposition of our meeting minutes from the last meeting. It is attached to the back of your agenda. I don't know if everyone had a moment to review those. Any objections or comments?
I had one comment.
Go ahead, Mr. Paskey.
On 2D, under me, the Blackbird Wood subdivision, the Planning Commission, City Council approval needed. I don't know if I said needed or may be needed. After further review, we're probably deciding that it will not need Planning Commission approval, but I'll just maybe say may be needed.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so you come to a determination that does not, or...
Kind of leaning that way, but I'm going to review it a little deeper.
So it's still in the may.
Yeah, still a may.
Any other items or comments? All right, I move that we accept the minutes from the last meeting.
I'll second that.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor, accept the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right, no opposition. All right, we do have a number of cases on our agenda. Both of them are wireless telecommunication special use permit modifications. They are case number 1308 and number 1308, or 09, excuse me. 1308 is for Monticello Towers and by Horizon Communications, and 1309 is also by Horizon Communications at 17 East Washington Street. Mr. Paskey or Mr. Logue, I'm not sure which one of you was walking Horizon Communications through the process and would like to provide a brief summary. We can start with number 1308, or if it's easier to...
1308 is fine. We'll start with Monticello.
Okay.
And Mr. Haynes from Sprint, representing Sprint, is here, and I'll let him explain more. But what that one is, if you go to page A2, I think it probably best summarizes a little bit of what they're doing, and that's just replacing some of the antennas on the existing tower and some changing out some equipment inside the room, the cabinet or whatever you want to call it, at ground level. So outside of that, I'm not an expert on understanding these antennas and what's going on, so I'll let Mr. Haynes speak to it.
So there's no modifications to the ground?
It did not look like there's any changes to the cabinetry or anything to the ground, just the
Nor to the height of the tower.
Or the height of the tower. It's not changing.
Mr. Haynes, if you don't mind, could you step up to the podium, because I'm sure we'll have a few questions directed towards you.
My name is Jeff Haynes. I'm from 77 Normandy Drive, Suite 1 in Painesville, Ohio. It's 44077.
All right, thank you, Mr. All right, what we're seeing on the plans on A2 is a copy of the existing compound plan as well as the some of the equipment modifications. Currently, there's the tower, an existing Sprint equipment shelter, and a Verizon shelter. The modifications here would just be with the Sprint shelter at the ground level. There's addition of a GPS unit mounted to the shelter, it looks like, and then anything else would be occurring with inside the shelter, I take it?
Correct, and then new antennas on the tower itself, yes.
Okay.
It's an upgrade from 3G to 4G.
Okay.
And so they'll put new antennas up with fiber optic cables running, and it'll upgrade the system.
Okay.
So is there a footprint change at all? I see something that says proposed concrete pad in the interim equipment plan.
I don't believe so, no, because they're just going to use the existing equipment room, but there'll be new equipment that goes there.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of this?
Where's
Do you need a copy?
No, I think I assume that's probably just it.
Well, when you look at the top under existing, you do not see those BBU cabinets.
Yeah.
And then it's proposed BBU cabinets.
The
That's it.
BBU cabinets are with the upgrade. I apologize,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
What does BBU mean?
I don't know what the technical term for that is. I know that that's all involved with the upgrade to the 4LG.
What is the height on those things? Because it gives a layout of I mean, they're only 3 by 6 feet, a couple of them, and they almost seem like the size of trash.
And I think they're about that same height.
Okay.
Washer and dryer.
Exactly, a washer and dryer. That's good. All right, so, and there's existing, all right, so there's MMBS cabinets and BBU cabinets on either side. And there's interim, and then the final layout would just be the BBU cabinets, would be all that remains.
Yes.
When you say interim, what's the timetable? It sounds like there's going to be a progression, it's going to be some time.
They do it rather quickly. No, it's actually something that happens, they take a place. They try to not have an interruption in any service, and so they'll take down one bank, put up the new ones, take down the other bank, and that's where how the interim system sort of falls into play.
Okay. All right, well, that's it. The interim could be, I was looking, saying, what does that mean? Months, days, hours, minutes? Okay.
And they try to have a crew there, get it accomplished, and get out of there, yes.
Okay. And it looks like on the page A3, of course, you're putting in new directional mountings of some kind.
For the new...
Antenna plan? I'm
Yes.
looking at the antenna plan interim versus, so you're actually going to take some off the corners, put some in the middle of these triangle.
Little different direction, correct.
Okay.
Mr. Hance, you know where the Verizon antenna is located on the tower?
Those are on somewhere.
I don't see it demarcated, so I don't know if anyone knows just by memory or...
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't give them the whole thing. What I have is much larger than what I gave you
Okay.
guys.
Well, does Verizon need to be, since they're co-located, does Verizon need to be consulted to ensure that this doesn't impact?
Well, Verizon's not the only one on it.
Verizon's
There's like 4 or 5, and the tower's owned by somebody else, from
Right.
what I can see here, so.
SBA owns the tower, yes. And they all have leasing arrangements that exist, and so by contract and by leasing a contract, they have to make sure they all know what each other is doing, so
Right.
they're not impacting each other's service.
Okay. So we'll assume that's all been handled externally by SBA.
Yeah, SBA won't let anybody on their tower or do anything to their tower without agreements in place.
And we like co-location.
We do, I know we do, I just don't want to create a chain of events either.
200 foot to the light antenna.
What is interesting that we recently addressed an upgrade to this area for the other carrier and now hearing. So
They're all moving forward to get, to the fiber and get to the LG, the 4LG, yeah.
Makes sense.
And is this just a change between 3G or 4G, or does this do anything for increasing or decreasing coverage in the area?
It's primarily that upgrade to 4LG. You'll obviously have a little bit of extra RV that goes out there, but it's mainly just to get from 3 to 4.
I don't have any other questions. Other questions, Commissioner?
Anything else you guys need to add? No?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up here for you guys to decide. Trying to find it when I was answering this question, so bear with me here. Our code requires that,
It's 43.
43, yeah, that there's a preliminary meeting and then another meeting for a final. But what we're kind of reading through here is the preliminary meeting is more for a new tower. So I guess if the commission is happy with all the information that's been provided today in regards to this, where you don't need to go look at it or anything, that you can actually vote on today, if you wish, on the final, so that this gentleman doesn't have to come back from Painesville in 2 weeks.
It'd be helpful for us getting it moving forward too, if it's
Right.
in agreement with you guys.
Well, is it explicitly state the preliminary meetings with the planning commission, or is it a preliminary meeting
Well,
with
reading
the
through it,
city?
Paul and I looked through it yesterday, and it's 4307W states, "There shall be a pre-application meeting with the planning commission. The purpose of the pre-application meeting will be to address issues that will help expedite the review and permitting process. A pre-application meeting shall also include a site visit if there has not been a prior site visit for the required site." And then on X, an applicant shall submit to the city the number of completed applications determined to be needed at the pre-application meeting. Written notification, the application shall be provided to the legislative body of all adjacent municipalities applicable and/or requested. But this is kind of under the section of application for a new tower. So for modifications that we were talking about, maybe there almost should have been a,
Yeah.
if applicable,
Right.
statement put in there.
Yeah, I'd like to see that happen, because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Right.
So,
I mean, I have no issue with putting it up to a vote today, but do other members feel that we should delay till either code is modified or, it doesn't sound like the intent is to, my fear was the intent is that there's multiple hearings, like in a city council where things have to be read multiple times so that other people can come in.
new towers
Make basic
require preliminary, require public hearing,
Right.
require a balloon test, a whole lot different than a modification, so.
And that's necessary too, we have with new
Right.
construction, yeah.
Right.
This is a tower we've already reviewed, too. So site visits have already been made. This
Well,
is at least the second.
Yeah. I thought you said that's in the new one, that we have to have a preliminary hearing and then a...
For new towers, yes,
Well,
definitely.
so then that would also mean we'd also have a public hearing and...
For new towers, yes.
Right.
Yes.
But I thought you said there is no information on modify, so there is nothing
It's
on
kind of all-
modify.
It says for any application,
Oh,
it
okay.
needs to be a pre-application meeting
Okay.
at the planning commission. If it's a new tower or a new facility, then you have to go through public hearing and notification and do all those other things.
Right.
For a co-location, you're not required to have public hearings, et cetera. There's nothing in the code that says if applicable for a co-location. So it leaves it up to the planning
Right.
commission to decide. You could say that we just had the pre-application meeting and that satisfied all the requirements and now we're willing to vote on it. If the planning commissioners don't believe that their questions have been answered to their satisfaction right now, then you could certainly say, we have questions, here's what we'd like you to answer for us, and please come back at the next planning commission meeting and we'll deliberate and vote, so.
Okay,
it's
I think
leaving it
that's
up
a
to
good
you.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of 4309, shared use of wireless to communication facilities and other structures, basically, it talks about, the preamble there talks about that we don't like new towers.
Right.
But also, application intended to locate an existing tower, other suitable structure shall be required to document the intent of the existing owner to permit use by the applicant. Sounds like that's the only thing I see here.
Right.
This would fall under what we call, if you remember before, and bear with us, this is kind of new for us. So we're
Well, I know,
learning.
you originally sent the other application down originally on this site, so I can relate to where you're going through from a learning situation, yeah.
The 4308, it gives a priority list of, obviously, the next
Right.
one we're going to look at would be a priority 1. This one is a priority 2, where it says on existing towers or other structures on other property in the city. So this will be a priority 2, and
Okay,
and
so that's A2.
4308 A2, correct.
Okay.
And that is one of the items on our checklist here, and it does fall under a priority 2. Short of being on a city-owned property, it's as high as it can go, so.
All right, well, if that's the case and there's no other questions or comments, I'd move that we accept this as the pre-application hearing and also I vote that we also accept the application for co-location.
I would say that okay, I'll second that. I feel we can
No,
vote
just
on
to
this.
cover the bases.
Okay,
Yes, to vote.
Okay, I think we can vote to approve this.
Yeah.
I don't see anything
Yeah,
tragic.
so I'm just saying that this is also, it's basically that you proceed, this is the pre-application, and that this is also the final application, so
Okay.
it's for both.
I will second that.
So all those in favor of accepting this co-location modification, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, and then one absence, of course. All right, we'll move right forward, so if you'd like to remain
you.
standing, I'd appreciate it. Number 1309, also to Verizon Communications at 17 East Washington Street. Let's move to your next plans.
Existing.
I don't think that address is right. It's actually 13. Parking garage.
See what it has on there.
No, the applications.
Did
It's
it
on
to-
top of the parking garage.
From the
Familiar?
standpoint of
Yeah, right.
the upgrades to both of these two tower facilities, identical, same situations going forward.
Okay.
Are you speaking on this one, too?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Ned.
No, you're fine. Same thing. This one here would be a priority 1 on the parking garage across the street. Char, the minutes, or the agenda does say 17 East Washington, it's 13 East Washington. I maybe gave you the wrong address on that. It does say it on here too. But as you just heard Mr. Haynes say, apparently the upgrades are identical to the upgrades that were done on the Monticello Tower.
On page A3A, I'm just going to need to get educated. It says add height of highest appurtenance. Can you?
Additional, I think, what I read on that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's because it's cropped off and they're showing that it should be 125 more feet taller on the drawing, but...
Just for the drawing itself, yes. There's no change going on to the structure on the parking garage.
That is just,
And your footprint is not increasing on the top of the parking
That is
garage?
correct, it is not.
How does that?
Well, I'm glad Paula saw that, because I had the same question. So the tower is not being increased 125 feet, that's just a note for the drawing because it wouldn't fit on there?
Yes.
Okay.
If you look on page 1, under the description of what's being done, the project description, that really outlines over on the left-hand side, about 3/4 of the way down the page.
okay.
I don't have anything in the project description, do you?
No.
Which,
Oh, wait,
Oh, it's
that's below
above
it,
that.
yeah,
Okay,
Sprint
signature.
proposed to modify existing one-man.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
My concern is thus, on the Monticello and other tower locations, there's required to be a fence around the shelters and stuff. This shelter's clearly wide out in the open, and my concern is adding equipment that's outside the shelter, the possibility for vandalism, right up there on the parking deck.
Is
Seems
it going to be
a-
outside the shelter? Or?
Yeah, it appears to be similar to what we saw in the Monticello, where the MMBUs sit.
Except it's exposed now, I guess, without trying to say that too.
Well, I agree it's exposed now, but like the fact that, one's a shelter with the door that I assume locks, and where, in Monticello, the MBUs were added outside the shelter, which, you can overlook because there's a generator outside, et cetera, and there's a fence that's required to be around those towers. This is very different in a very public place.
That has been in existence now since 2003. Am I missing something?
what he's saying is the Sprint outdoor BBU cabinets are mounted on the outside of that existing shed that's up there, so to speak. Whether those are vandal-proof cabinets or, and since they're not inside the shed unit, basically.
With the way the plans are designed up, we don't have a concern about vandalism to them. I think that's why they were designed that way.
I mean, as is, if,
I wouldn't say that.
with the lease agreement, I'm sure how it's set up is that if there's any damage that occurs to these, the city's not responsible because it's not as part of the lease agreement.
I don't know that to be a fact, but I would fully assume that to be the case, yes.
Right.
Do you have the lease agreement?
They also have they have to hold their own liability insurance.
Okay.
$1 million per occurrence.
And that kind of language is pretty standard in all these lease agreements.
Probably about 9% of the time we have that area chained off too. We don't usually use
The upper deck.
upper deck that much. Either upper deck, tell you the truth. Not that that doesn't occur.
And we do have cameras for those of you out there watching. Watching.
We're watching ET.
All right,
There was some discussion about flashing. Were we carrying something up there at one point? We need to work around these guys?
And they would.
Okay.
and there's no, I mean, it doesn't, if you look at the equipment and how it ties in, it doesn't seem like there's any required clearance from the parking deck wall or anything in the lease,
No.
right? They can be right up against it.
Like, when you say it doesn't increase the footprint, maybe I'm missing something. Where it shows an existing, you have an existing car stop, typical 3 places. Both the interim and the final show 4 places.
I guess we're not looking for any additional space or space from a leasing standpoint. Is that a better way to address the footprint? I think with those two BBUs that do stick outside the equipment cabinet, there is, I guess, a little bit of an addition to a footprint then. But it's not something that there's an additional foundation issue to it.
They're hanging on the side of the shed unit, on the outside instead of the inside.
Okay. Do you have the full set, John?
I do.
Could you show me detail for A5? Basically sheet A5.
You need sheet A5.
Yeah, that has the MMBS cabinet, I think it's just subjective.
It's just pretty much
Is it just a plan detail?
what you're looking at, just blown up a little bit bigger.
Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah, so here's what they look like. That's what I was trying to figure out.
5'10" tall.
Look like IT cabinets, really. Just outdoor.
Outdoor IT cabinet. Doesn't look like anything somebody can skateboard on.
No.
What?
There's a question.
Apparently,
That sounds like a question from experience.
yeah.
No, just, they'll find someplace to skateboard if they can. You know, they're looking for concrete seas wherever.
You know, they're falling.
More details?
Yeah, that's what it looks, comes across like. It's basically, it's full of batteries,
Yes.
the battery packs.
Well, the requirements now for all of these, I mean, I'm sure you probably heard this in other planning commission, but they're all required to have a generator system on them now because of the essential communications of nature of the cellular service.
As well as a battery to do the jump between them.
So the next ratio that we undergo, we actually can communicate, right?
Well, it's and I don't mean to digress, but it's a big issue with all the towers every place now is us going out and getting them equipped for generator situations because they are considered essential communications.
Well, it does not appear that they would be very visual because they are set back from that corner location. And height-wise, it seems like the parapet wall would obscure them, so.
Yeah.
I have no additional comments. Other questions or comments by commission members?
No, I guess I would move to accept this too,
All right, so,
as a modification. And
all right.
Pre-meeting and post-meeting, or whatever.
Exactly. Pre-application and final application.
Okay.
I will second that. Any other comments or anything? All right, all those in favor of the modifications to the parking garage, tower, and shelter, sprint shelter, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Any
I will
further-
state that I do have a copy of the lease for the one on the parking garages in that packet, and now that it's approved, I will forward back to you.
Okay.
Then you guys
Okay,
can-
also, again, we have that usually chained off, so you have to work with our lands and buildings to make sure you don't.
Not a problem. I actually
Cut your way
I drove up there today to go up to just to take a look at what existed up there, and you can get up to the second top layer, you can't get up to the top because it is chained off, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Well, I appreciate you bearing with us through the protocol and procedure.
Not a problem. We appreciate the assistance, thank you.
Okay, great.
I have no other cases on the agenda. And we have communications next up.
The only communication I'll relay is that I received a letter from Integrated Service dated July 31st by certified mail. They're going to, they're looking at a Charles Place development. They want to give us some time if we have any issues with it. These are parcel numbers, let's see, well, they're basically 3 lot numbers off of Charles Street. I could go A02, 83, 001, sorry. 000102, 00100, and 101. There's 3 adjacent lots. The intention, I believe, is to build 5 2-bedroom residential units with commercial space at ground level. I had a conversation with Mr. Gillespie sometime last month. He fully expects to go forward with this without requiring any variances. I believe I sent you a letter.
Yes.
I believe council has received scans of this letter, so they are aware in the loop as well. So that's the only communication I have. I hope there's more communication before it all gets done.
As it's presented to you, 5 two-bedroom units with commercial space on the ground floor, first floor, do you see that it will come through for review?
For Title 41, absolutely.
Okay.
Unless they somehow do multiple buildings, but then we're looking at a PUD.
Right.
So one way or another, I think it's coming through.
The conversation I had with him is that 3 of the units, 2-bedroom units, would actually have an elevator, so they'd be ADA accessible. Again, I haven't seen it. I don't think the plans have really been put together yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen
It's
it.
very early, and this is just the first step, I believe. So these 3 lots, I believe, are B3, which is
B3,
why
correct.
he has to have it commercial at the bottom. What that commercial will be, he's not sure, but that's where we are. I don't think you got a letter, did you, Paul? No?
No.
I'll get
I
you.
shared it.
I'm aware of it, but
Okay.
just from, John showed me the letter.
They already own the property?
Do
Integrated
not know if
services?
they purchased it or not as of
Yeah.
yet.
That's a good question. I don't know either. It's up to them to do the closing and what they need to do. Considering we rezoned the whole area.
Yes, this is still in the B3
Still in
area.
B3, okay. That's the only communication I have. Oh, wait a second. The other one, of course, is the historic. Okay, I lost that already here. I received a letter from Ron Luce. He's going to be putting together Heritage Ohio and Athens Historical Society Museum, August 12th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the community center. Dollars and cents of building rehabilitation, community approach. This is basically a how-to in terms of historic preservation. I believe you said you related to the Historic Preservation Commission?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess anybody's welcome. I think there's a $20 fee for the lunch. So I can relay that to you guys electronically if you wish.
On August 12th?
Yes.
For the community center?
Yes.
Okay. Any other items to add to communications? I would like to make a request to get back on track with our zoning review, the business and residential zones. So as the next,
Not the next meeting, I'll go over that.
as
in a
the
minute.
next available meeting that we have time to continue on that. So if we don't have cases, Sharon, you don't hear from me, do add that to the agenda, as long as everyone's in agreement. I appreciate it.
I've forgotten what we're working on right now.
I think we last got through we're all pretty much done with residential. I think we were gonna, I know we'd gone through R1 and R2. I'd have to go back through the minutes to see if we did get all the way through R3, and where we left at it. So I'll put that burden on myself to try to get us back up to date where we need to go next, okay?
Okay.
I had made the request to return to the business zone. So,
Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we started, and I think, I remember there was discussion, let's start at the beginning of the zoning code, and so I think we probably are pretty much ready to go into business, and maybe it's just a quick summation of what, some of the items that we brought up with the residential, and then we can proceed with business. Right now, we are really just looking at it broadly, broad brush, and then kind of getting into specifics. If I remember correctly, we have not sort of identified any recommendations we're going to make to city council yet on a zoning change. So I think it's still very open process.
Okay.